Hello everyone, Achadin over here, and as always you can like my videos and also subscribe in any of the cats that are on the sites. This is also kind of an informative video, but a really fast one, like one I did about the empowered monoliths. This is the one about the new mechanic. As you know, we have the For Nothing Knights faction, and we have to kill 10 different Harbingers. When you do the first one, after getting the empowered monoliths, you uncover that you need to do at least one with 100 corruption, 125, etc., etc., until 300. This may seem a little bit annoying because even if the Harbingers drop this item called Harbinger Needle, that you can find them not 100%, but a lot of the times when you kill them, you begin on the other timelines at 100, and of course, if you haven't progressed them in any way while you were doing things, you will have them like this. Of course, ignore the corruption or something like that, but it will have 100 corruption. So which is the fastest way to actually get the 10 harbingers killed using the mechanics that we have available? Because remember that we also have access to glyphs of envy. This will come into usage a little bit later. So the first thing we want to do is, if your build needs them a lot, of course you want to get at least your major blessings. Like for example, I kind of needed the one with all resistances, and also void resistance and physical resistance to kind of cap my character. But as I knew the timeline that I was going to farm was the Lagon one, I didn't care that much. I just got any roll of the lightning shred, and as you know, the others are not that important. So after you get your required blessings, you will need a build that can do around 400 to 420 or 30 corruption. I still don't know the exact number for the catch up to get to 300, but if you want, you can do this like in steps while you gather currency or you gather items if you are of the other place. Of course, if you are Circle of Fortune, you will get access to less gear, but it can be also quite useful to just know that you can do this strategy anyway. Now, if you have your build ready that can do up to 400 corruption, or just do it by steps, like you can keep going on one timeline and just pushing that one, and what you do in the other timelines is you get up to the stability so that you can do the boss. Then you do the boss with a Harbinger needle. That you should have quite a bit of Harbinger needles as you push your main timeline. Like for example, if you go all the way to 300 and something by doing the boss, you can also do the Harbinger and he drops these needles, and also some glyphs of Envy that they will be useful for other things. And then you can get 2 or 3 gases of Orbis and then kill the boss. You get some corruption. I always try to go at least until the Orbis that gives me 13 corruption or even more. That way I have a lot of stability and I can do the boss 2 or 3 times while I do that. And that way get the 4 gases of Orbis. And you just have to know that you will need around 10 needles, but you will have them in excess if you do this strat. Of course, you can use one sometimes to make the thing a little bit faster, and then as you push this main one, you can also do the other ones if you want. So what you are going to do the other ones is take one mechanic that is in the game, but it's not easy to know if this is your first league. Before you could actually see it, but now for some reason it doesn't show, is the catch-up corruption. This catch-up corruption means that, for example, if I have my timeline here, it's 475, and then I go to another timeline, for example this one, the Stolen Lands, I go here and you can see that it's 119. This is one of the first harbingers that I did. I will get a huge deal of corruption even if it doesn't show in the base corruption that Orbis gives. and in the corruption that you get from Gates of Orbis, that you know they are capped in up to 4 stacks. If you die to Orbis, you lose 1 stack, not all stacks like before. That is quite good. And I also recommend you that if you die to Orbis, you just go to another one, because that one will give stability, but the one you die to does not. Now you will do that, you will keep jumping around. So that is what I should have done. I did a bit of clowning. I didn't actually know of this strat until I had my 3 left Harbinger, them being 250, 275, and 300 corruption. But when I did that, it helped me to do it way faster. What you will do is, as I said before, you will clear until you have an Orbis ready. Then you will do 1 boss with the needle, and then you guys the 4 gases of Orbis, and all of the catch-up that you want to do. Of course, the first ones are kind of easy. You only need 100, 125, etc, etc. Those ones you can just stop if you want while you get more gear, or if your build is not super strong. You can stop at 300 in your main timeline, and then you can go and do the other ones. Of course, as you get near 300, like doing the 200 or 225, I do recommend that you do go and do your main one until 400. Also to restock on needles if you were unlucky and you didn't drop all of them in the other. Now, as you kill that boss with that Orbis with some stacks of the Gates of Orbis, ideally 4 of course, using a needle, you will get a huge deal of catch-up corruption, and you will end up in one of the other places. Let's, for example, let's see here, into one of these. You get like 200 and some 55 something. Let's say that you have 370 or something, and it will go from 100 to 255. And for example, this you could do Harbingers until even almost the last ones. Then, of course, you won't have enough stability after finishing the boss unless you overcapped it. So you could do 2 of them in a row. You will use Glyphs of Envy. They are really easy to use. You will put any item that has some forging potential, and then if it can be upgraded in any of the slots, you will click here, and instead of using, for example, a Glyph of Hope, you will use here a Glyph of Envy, and it will give some stability to the timeline. For example, I have these boots that have useless mods. One thing is, I actually do not know what makes it so you get more or less. First, I thought it was the level of the mods, but I have also did some with one that had 2 tier 7s that were useless tier 7s, like stun chance or whatever. But because, for example, here I got 203, and here I have 154. No reason. Maybe the more forging potential that you have, the more it gives. I do not know. And this will give, of course, stability so that you can do the boss earlier. So you will do that. Get until Orbis with 4 gazes. Get all the catch-up corruption. Now you have enough corruption to do the Harbinger. Use Glyphs of Envy. You do the boss again, and you can do that boss with the Harbinger, and then you can ignore the timeline like I did with this one. That you can see, I did it once and I forgot about it. Same with the Black Sun. I think I did it twice, maybe. No, I did it once and I got to 150, and then I just forgot, unless you of course have some loot that you wanted. And then of course my main timeline is this one, but I have the highest one right now. I'm just spamming this one, and then you get that power. I hope this helped you, and I'm going to of course put a TLDR at the beginning. Just get corruption in the main one, kill Orbis, you get a lot of corruption from catch-up in the other one. Use Glyphs of Envy to do the boss another time. You get enough corruption, you do the Harbinger, and then you go on to the next one or into your main one to get more corruption for the catch-up. That is all. Have a nice day, and I will see you on the next video.